On this three-part special of Thurston County Connection, I'm exploring civility from a lot of perspectives. For this first part, I will speak with our youth in middle school about what civility means to them. We'll hear from 6th, 7th, and 8th graders about how they work through conflict with their own age group as well as with adults. You won't want to miss it. Today I'll be checking in with the people who make up our future. I'm headed down to Washington Middle School in Olympia to talk with students in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade about civility and what it means to them. So, thank you all for being here. Greatly appreciate it. And I know you're happy about missing class right now. But what I want to know is why are we here? Why are we here? Why is this an issue? Why is it important?
To share different perspectives of how we believe what civility is.
Okay. Anyone else? Gavin?
Yeah, thank you. This can also kind of help us reflect, especially for the 2020 presidential campaign next year. So maybe this can also give not us a lesson for us future citizens, but also to the general public.
Okay. And I would just point out that civility is everywhere in our conversation. It's everywhere in our country, not just political and not just social media, but it's pervasive. It's everywhere. So I don't want you to limit it by just social media or just at school or just in politics or just at home or just in Bieber. I don't want this to be limited, but that's a good point. Good point. Anyone else? Why we're here? Why this is an important issue? Yes.
It's to kind of discuss and see what the future voters, basically our generation, what we feel about civility and what it means to be a good citizen. Yeah.
Okay. Because 30% of our population are youth, but you're 100% of our future. So that's another reason why it's important. Let's do this. Just a one-word answer. It's almost like word association. A one-word answer. What is civility? What is it? Yes.
Respect.
Is what?
Respect.
Respect.
I was going to say the same thing.
Okay.
Courtesy.
Courtesy.
Community.
Community. That's a good one. Yeah.
Politeness.
Politeness.
Kindness.
Okay. Anyone else have a one-word answer? Yes.
Kind of like community, but together.
Together or togetherness. Okay. What does civility? What does it mean to you? More than one word. What does it mean? Yes.
So I think it means being like respectful and courteous, even if you don't agree with another person.
To me, I think civility means thinking about everything and everyone in the world, and that, sure, we're thinking about politics and what outfits to wear to school, but also thinking about the people in Venezuela, the people who need food, who need water. Civility is understanding how, no matter the feelings and the differences that we all have, we are all trying to be a part of this world and community, and that we all need to kind of stand together whether we believe in this or that.
For civility, it's basically, like, since the word civil is in there, for example, one way we can do this is by finding common ground, especially during, like, opinion or an argument, because we're all diverse. This is what makes us a world right now. And if we're not civil, then what are we then?
I believe civility is the moral and ethical way that we treat one another with respect. And it doesn't have to necessarily mean that you have to believe in what others' opinions are, but you do have to respect them.
Go ahead.
I feel like civility is like understanding that everyone like all lives in the same world together. So being able to work together and understand everyone else.
All right.
Like what Gavin said, because the word civil is in there, it's arguing with someone or disagreeing with their opinion, but in a respectful way that won't offend them or make them any more angrier.
Okay. Do you you don't want to antagonize them?
Yeah.
What if is civility just about having friends?
No.
No. So is it just about having and hang out with people who just agree with you?
No.
Does anybody in here hang out with people that constantly disagree with them?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I do.
Good.
I have a lot of friends.
Otherwise, you're living with what's called a group think. You just hang out with people that not look like you, but they have the same attitude towards an issue, or they watch the same channels, or they have the same friends, you like the same music, whatever. And that's group think. You all kind of think alike. Do people change their views? Do they change their ideology on certain topics
Yes.
or opinion on a topic? What generally causes that? But if I have a certain belief about an issue, what causes me to change my opinion?
Facts.
Facts. What else?
Exposure to a certain idea.
There you go.
Yeah, maybe if an event or something happened to you, that would change your views on it. But a lot of the time, like, just constantly going over facts that we've already gone over, it doesn't change anyone's mind. And I think that for someone to truly change their mind about something, they have to kind of face it in real life, in the actual world, to get a better understanding of it.
What issues are important to you?
National security.
National security. Well, these are big topics. Yes.
Climate change and gun violence.
Oh, okay.
Equality.
Equality among
Everything.
everything.
Women, race, LGBT, all of it.
Good. Okay. What is it you can do individually to promote civility in your home, in your neighborhood, your school, or general whatever?
I think it's really about just being open-minded and, being like civil and, being respectful for others. And it can just be easiest. Like if there's a topic going on, just be open-minded. Don't get one-sided or don't get too angry about another person's perspective, and which can lead to hateful things, which is not good.
Just listening to other people's ideas and beliefs.
Listening.
We can share our opinions with other people and listen to what their view is on certain topics to kind
Okay.
of think about it.
Good.
Including everybody and letting people get heard that don't always have a voice.
Treating others how you would like to be treated.
Yeah, what's that called?
The golden rule.
The golden rule. Yeah. Let me ask this. Can you think of a time when civility may have been difficult for you or a time where you was just really harder than heck to be civil towards somebody? Can you think of yes, oh you can.
I feel like we exclude our families when we think about civility. We're like, oh, they're too close to us to act civil, I guess. So, one Frankie brought up was you tend to get into more heated arguments with the people closest to you. So I think when you practice civility, it's harder when you are doing it to somebody who's close to you.
Right. Yes.
When they appear as an obstacle to a goal of yours.
Oh. So you want to get something or somewhere.
And if they're in the way of it, you're less likely to be civil to them or value their opinion. You just want to keep looking straight ahead at your goal.
How do you sort through that then when that confronts you?
You have to kind of take a step backwards and really think about what they're saying instead of getting your own goals muddled up with what they're saying.
Okay.
Think about it independently and not in relation to what you want.
Right. Change your goal, perhaps even.
When someone says something or has an opinion that is, or just is either something, or is either sexist or racist, and you don't want to just scream at them and say, hey, that's not a nice thing to say. You have to be civil and engage in conversation with them. When someone says something just kind of crude, it's hard to be civil with them.
I'm going to imagine you come into contact with folks that you're not capable of changing their mind, and they're not capable of changing the subject, right? And the same with you, perhaps. Just be aware of your own self-awareness that maybe no one's going to convince you, or you're not going to convince them. But remember, if you can change the topic, sometimes that helps too. If someone is completely uncivil with you, Do you know where you can go? What would you do? Do you get help? Or do you go talk with someone? What do you do when someone's completely uncivil with you, Frankie?
You leave.
Just walk away.
Yes.
Okay.
If it is getting to the point where it's very serious, you can talk to a trusted adult, like the counselors here, a teacher, like what we did, the connected survey, so at least you can talk this with someone you trust personally.
That's brilliant too. Go to someone, a trusted adult that you know will kind of help you see through this as well. And it might be at school, it might be someone at home. You know, it might be a relative that lives outside your home. Yes.
Ignore them. Like if they see that you don't really care about what they have to say, they're not going to continue to bother you.
Okay, and that probably works for the vast majority of folks, I would think. Did you have? Okay, go ahead.
If it's continuous, well, then that's considered a form of bullying. So then it becomes serious, and then you have to you should talk to a counselor or maybe even the principal, or also someone you trust for
Did
sure.
you hear that? Bullying. Yeah. Yeah, bullying's uncivil. Okay. Yes.
Be the bigger person. Don't stoop to their level.
Yep. Don't let them drag you down.
If it's just being really terrible, just say to their face, "Hey, why are you being like this? I'm being civil to you. I'm trying to hear out your point and your opinion, and you're just being uncivil. Why are you being like this?" Just tell them what they're doing is wrong, and if they stop it, then don't listen to them after that.
Calling them on it.
Yeah.
But again, that takes a lot of internal strength and courage to do that. But you're not alone.
I feel like bullying has a lot to do with like incivility and judgment, and it's like having false ideas, I guess, or like false opinions about some person to where you want to repeat that behavior towards that person, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's true. It's just their opinion that they want to get out there, and they just take it too far. It has something to do with like incivility and judgment, and how it's having a person is having false opinions about someone else, so they kind of want to get their opinion out there, but they take it too far because they don't feel heard.
Does it bother you folks when somebody paints you with a false motive?
I don't mind it as much because I usually recognize it just as an attempt to devalue my opinion, which I see as, kind of belittling, really uncivil. But I just recognize the fact that I'm not the person they're describing me as, and I just take comfort in that, and then I don't have to get heated because I know that they're wrong. Maybe, I don't know that, but I know that what they're doing is wrong and how they're acting is wrong. So,
Are you aware of the times where you have painted a false motive on someone?
Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can do that in your head.
Okay.
But as soon as you say something, then it takes on right or wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
That's true, because I feel like we all unconsciously judge someone before meeting them. That's just something that happens in our head.
Right. Now that's profiling. And what do we hear in the media all the time? Profiling is,
Racial.
well, it could be racial, but just profiling is wrong.
Stereotypes.
Right? Profiling is wrong. But we do that all the time. We judge people all the time. Because you're looking at somebody or a situation or a circumstance, and you start coming up with ideas based on your upbringing, based on all kinds of experiences and such. And I would just, of course, caution you about that, but everybody does that, whether it be racial or gender or ethnicity or religion or whatever the topic is. That really gets in the way of a lot of productive, meaningful relationships. Yes.
When it comes to judging and being judgmental and having preconceptions, I find this to be kind of an interesting topic in that you have to, in yourself, sort through all of the informations and, I guess, judgmental things you are getting off of the different people from your meeting. Like, if you meet someone and you see them and maybe they're wearing ratty clothing, you can think, oh, maybe that person doesn't have as much money, and that's a judgment. But it's also a judgment if you're like meeting someone on a bus and like, oh, I don't want to sit by that person, something is telling me not to. And those are both put under the category of being judgmental, but what's interesting to me is that they're also so different in that one of those is something in you that is saying, this isn't a situation I want to be in with that person, and the other one is much more just guessing and judging, which I've said a lot at this point. But it's interesting to me thinking about all these things because judging is such an umbrella term, and we put such a negative connotation to it. But the problem with that is that also gives us a reason to make judging invalid, in that, like I said, that person makes me uncomfortable, I don't want to be near them. That's just being judgmental. That's invalid. But it's not. And so that's something I find really interesting about judging, and just that bad connotation, and it gives people the right to make your feelings invalid when in fact they could be. And it could be a matter of your safety.
I hope you folks watching this at home, it's too bad you can't experience this, but I am sitting in among brilliant young ladies and gentlemen. I mean, these just canny people right here. Because there's and you just hit it right on the head. Have you read the book, The Gift of Fear? I knew it, because you were talking to it. Oh my goodness, you read it.
I've read some of it. I have not finished it.
The Gift of Fear by Gavin de Becker talks about that. We all have an innate sense in us that when I see a situation, I'm walking down the street and I see something up ahead that just kind of, the hair on my neck kind of stands up and I get goosebumps and I cross the street. I could be judging, I could be wrong, but it's safety. It keeps us safe. And that's important. You're smart. Good reading. And there's also Fearless. He did another one about Fearless. Mm-hmm. And there's just brilliant books to read, and it's just about that. How we judge situations and or people, and you might be right or wrong, but it's also a safety mechanism that we have innately inside of us. Very well said. As students, or as young people, I should say, because you don't have to be a student, do you think that your thoughts and opinions are respected and addressed?
Not all the time.
No.
Not all the time? Yes.
In highly political or more, I guess, adult affairs, they don't value our opinion as much. Even though we're not able to vote, we still have to live in what other people decide for us.
We are seen as entitled in this day and age. There's a lot of depictions and everything that we're always on our phones, we're always doing this. I haven't really found many positive things about us anywhere, and that really hurts adults' opinions of us, and that affects how much they respect us, want to protect our rights and opinions. Let's say that a college was shot up instead of a middle school or a high school, like that's happening now. Let's say that like a college was shot up, and then with people who could vote and change things, and people whose opinions are more respected, there'd be, I think, a much bigger outcry.
Okay.
Yes.
I think kind of like what Frankie said, about us with our phones and stuff. I think it's based really on stereotypes, because we're considered a minor because we're under 18, but still, I mean, the stereotypes really have to play us out. I get it. I guess it does. But, they don't see that what we're capable of and what we have and what we are and mature.
Let me ask you guys, again, that's everybody, give me some advice. What can I do to promote more civility? I'm in a position of not power, but great responsibility and authority. What can I do to promote more civility?
Keep doing this. This is good. This gets people out there. It gets our voice out.
Okay.
Yeah. I know Oregon kind of had like a bill where 16-year-olds can vote. I don't know if it got passed or not, but I'm not seeing like a vote for like us teens, especially for like still considered a minor, but just like maybe do like an open forum, maybe encourage teens to encounter city town hall meetings so we can get those voices who are not heard.
Good idea.
Probably like something like this, but on a bigger scale, with more people who are going to be deciding what we do, like how we're going to live our lives based off state and federal laws. Like people who are going to be making these laws don't know what we think. They don't they don't truly ask most of the time. So it'd be good if we were able to talk openly without them judging us and having a civil conversation with the people who are going to decide how our future is going to be.
With understanding. You said
Finding,
earlier.
sorry.
That's right.
Finding safe environments. For,
What is that?
Finding safe environments for teens, adults, everyone to be able to discuss these different ongoing issues.
In a safe place, yeah. Okay, oh yes.
Having more student representation in like city council meetings, or I don't know how the Thurston County meetings and stuff works, but there as well, just so we can voice our opinions and laws that are going to affect us really locally.
Okay, that's a good idea.
If you do more of this in like different places, because in this place we're more liberal here. So like if you go to like Texas where it's more conservative, and you ask more people, I feel like you'll have a different perspective on everything.
That's true. Move around regionally.
Kind of doing this more, but just listening to other people around you. Like us, we were all kids who were nominated by teachers, that we're all good students and that sort of thing. But like talking to us, the maybe students who are more well-spoken, but then talking to the students who maybe have really bad grades, then talking to maybe some of the people that are in homeless camps around Olympia, then talking to some of the people that live in richer neighborhoods, in that not just talking to a select few to hear the voices and the opinions, going to all the different places and getting the most diversity so that you can really see what it is that we all struggle with, what are the things that we all would like help with, and then also helping out with the individual things.
Interesting, because I did do one on homeless, and interviewed several of those folks as well that are currently in it, and those that have survived it and moved on and came out of it. And that's a good point, very good point. Yes.
Maybe an idea of distributing the idea of civility among the youth is speaking and making a presentation about civility among different schools in our community.
Okay. Frankie.
So assemblies and stuff definitely help because it helps gather a lot of people into one place. And another thing is making sure that people understand the consequences of not being civil. Because if you're not civil to somebody and they get angry and they have backing, and then you get angry and you have backing, and it just builds and builds until it gets onto almost a national level, that's where war happens. That's where people start physically fighting, and that's how people die, and that's not okay.
Yeah. Anybody else?
I believe what Helen said, that we've been selected and it's a great privilege that you wanted to talk to us, but there are other people who may not have the exact same opinion as us, and those who aren't possibly as well behaved, I guess. The uncivil peoples in our youth need to learn how to be civil, and they can express their opinion in a more calm environment.
I think Floyd has a song that I love, and one of the verses in that is "What the silent unite in a common accord." It's beautiful about helping people that are down and don't have a voice. So let me ask everybody collectively: was this of value to you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Greatly.
All right, then everybody stand up and put your hands in the center. And on three, what's it going to be? Be civil.
Yes.
If you can reach.
Don't steal
Climb on the table. 1, 2, 3. Be civil. There we go. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for watching. Next week, I'll be speaking with college students from our capital county about civility and what it means to them. Be sure to tune in next week for the second episode of our 3-part series on civility.